So we have seen in this example that how can we compute a resultant weight matrix which we can use in order to perform clustering of unknown patterns. So there are a number of applications which uses SOM algorithm in order to perform clusters, and in a test example which you can execute is basically an iris clustering dataset. So you can use this iris dataset and you can execute a SOM clustering algorithm on it, and you can test your knowledge. So iris is a classical dataset which is used by a number of statisticians to check classification methods, and this dataset is also used to test for clustering algorithms. So in this dataset, we have 150 samples of flowers divided into three classes. So we have three different sets of these flowers dataset, and each class has 50 instances, and there are four variables which is basically defining different attributes or characteristics of these. So you can use this data set and you can execute a clustering algorithm. You can execute it in Python or in Weka or maybe in MATLAB, and you can see that once you load this data set and you execute some algorithm, it will basically form clusters of this data set, and you can have its visualization in such kind of maps, or you can also have the visualization in a bar chart. So just try to execute this example or a similar example, and you will have much better understanding of this SOM algorithm. So we can conclude that SOM is a very good algorithm that projects high dimensional data onto a two-dimensional map. The projection preserves the topology of the data so that similar data items will be mapped to nearby locations on the map. Some still have many practical applications, and most promising applications are in pattern recognition, speech recognition or analysis, industrial and medical diagnostics, and other different data mining applications. And a large quantity of good quality representative training data is required. So you can say that one downside of this algorithm is that we need a high quality and a high quantity data in order to train our algorithm. So this was more or less about the SOM algorithm, and the next algorithm which we want to discuss today is basically an expectation maximization algorithm, right, which is also a very important and a very commonly used algorithm, and we have a number of applications in which we use expectation maximization algorithm. So let's have a detailed look of EM algorithm, and we will see that what are the algorithms, what are the flowcharts, and how can we use an EM algorithm in different applications. So here is a motivation of an EM algorithm. So you can see that probabilistic models such as hidden Markov models and Bayesian networks, we have not studied. We have briefly studied HMM, but we have studied in detail the Bayesian networks, and we saw that these probabilistic models are the most commonly used models, especially for the biological data. Often, the only data available for training probabilistic models are incomplete, requiring special handling. So we have seen that most of the algorithms are either those are probabilistic models or other models. We have seen that we can suffer from a problem that it can happen that the training data required to train the probabilistic model maybe is not complete, or maybe is not in a proper shape or format, and so it can require special handling so that we can make the data in a form so that it can be given to the model or the network. The expectation maximization algorithm enables parameter estimation in probabilistic models with incomplete data. So when we have this kind of situation in which we have some incomplete data, so in that case we can use EM algorithm which can enable parameter estimation in probabilistic models. So this is basically the main motivation for our EM algorithm. So what I basically meant from incomplete data is that an ideal data set will be a data set which has the matrix with all its cells filled, right? I don't want my input data set or the training data set to have some missing values. So the ideal data set should have all the values filled, but an incomplete data can have some missing values in them, or maybe some unobserved class assignments, right? So which you can see in this figure as well. So in order to have some motivation, here are some of the practical applications which are using EM algorithms. So many probabilistic models in computational biology include latent variables, right? So these are the most commonly used applications. One is for gene expression clustering. It is also used in k-means clustering, and it is also used in protein domain profiling. It is also used in RNA family profiling, and also there are a number of applications even in medical imaging where people are using people are using EM algorithm using a very simple latent class model. So you have seen that in the real world applications of machine learning, it is very common that there are many relevant features available for learning, but only a small subset of them are observable, right? So we can have some bigger set of features available for a specific problem or domain, but out of this we can have a small subset which is the observable data. So for the variables which are sometimes observable and sometimes not, then we can use the instances when that variable is visible, is observed for the purpose of learning, and then we can use that observable variable in order to predict its values in the instances which is not observable, right? So by using this phenomena of the variables which are observable, we can basically predict the values for the instances that are not observable. So maximum likelihood estimation, so this is an approach which is used to density estimation, right? The maximum likelihood estimation is a density estimation approach for a data set by searching across probability distributions and their parameters. So I hope I think I also discussed the probability distributions in the early lectures. So I hope that this thing is clear to everyone. It is a general and effective approach that underlies many machine learning algorithms, right? So I am talking here about the maximum likelihood estimation. Although it requires that the training data set is complete, for example, all relevant interactive random variables are present. Maximum likelihood becomes interactable if there are variables that interact with those in the dataset but were hidden or not observed. So these variables are basically called latent variables, right? So the latent variables are those variables which are hidden or maybe not observable in the dataset. The expectation maximization algorithm is an approach for performing maximum likelihood estimation in the presence of latent variables. So once we have the latent variables present in our data set, then the EM algorithm or the expectation maximization algorithm can be used as an approach to perform maximum likelihood estimation. It does this by first estimating the values of the latent variables, then optimizing the model, then repeating these two steps until convergence. So this is a very important point here for an EM algorithm. What it does is it basically works in two stages. In stage number one, it estimates the values of the latent variables, and we have seen that the latent variables are those variables which are not observable, and then it optimizes the model, and then it repeats both of these steps.